Hey guys, Levi here once again. Hope you enjoyed my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, I reviewed that yesterday. If you want to hear more of my thoughts opinion on that movie, watch my review. And welcome back to another review, guys. Yes, this is another Marvel movie, Marvel animated film. Before I get to that, guys, again, welcome to my channel. My name is Levi McNally. Levi McNally is my name, or just call me Levi. Been on YouTube for a while, but this is my new channel. With a mass profile picture on. Remember to stay subscribed to this channel. There's my other channel. You watch videos on that. Now, there is a video I did on that channel that includes something of this movie. It's not a trailer reaction video, but I'll talk about that, mention that eventually. But it's on my other channel. You can watch that. It's a snack video actually. And I'll get back to doing that part on this channel, like Levi Tries, something like that. I want to get back to doing those someday, those kind of videos one day. And I'm also thinking of doing video game playthroughs on this channel. I just gotta get something. Well, not this desk here. Sometimes the wheel falls. One of the wheels will fall off, and I have to put it back on, screw it back on. The desk I have here. It's a rolling desk. So yeah, yeah. It's not the wheels on the left don't go round around on this darn desk. But no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, guys, like I said, what I've been doing is a superhero marathon. As you can tell, I'm doing a Spider-Man review. My awesome Spider-Man shirt. I just love wearing these when I do Spider-Man reviews. You know, I just love wearing the Spider-Man shirt. Sorry, that's just me. Also, what we're doing is a superhero marathon, guys. I've been doing what I call the 2020s era of superhero reviews. These are superhero movies now that, came out in the year 2020s decades we're living in now, starting with 2020 to 2025. That's what I'm going with it right now. And I'm on the year 2023. So yeah, you're probably thinking, Leo, you're getting close. I am getting close to getting done. There's only I already know the 2024 movies I'm going to review, superhero films I'm going to review. I've been through the years and months of those already. 2025 so far, it's going to be two movies. I know we got the new Fantastic Four movie out, the new Superman movie out, which I really don't care to see. That's just me. I don't know. I just don't have any interest in those movies. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We're getting way ahead of ourselves here. We got to talk about the 2023 superhero movies. I want to talk about these movies now. But anyway, this is a 2023 animated superhero film. This is a sequel to the 2018 Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse movie. It is a sequel to that, or the second film in the Spider-Verse franchise. That is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I really enjoy. Some people didn't. Some people probably thought it was woke, and I do agree with some people that it is a bit long. Yeah, I'm not saying this was a perfect sequel wasn't perfect, but this is a Blu-ray DVD of it. You have my own thing, music video, Crosswords Design New Dimensions, about the filmmakers talking about, the movie a little bit, some special features and stuff. It's pretty interesting on how they did it. Not every part of the movie works, but it's a good film. This is the Blu-ray and DVD I have of it. Yeah, this is the DVD, and this is the Blu-ray. Now, what I mean, yeah, but I did enjoy the sequel. I know some people didn't. If you did, if you hated it, that's fine. I mean, to each his own. If you don't like these movies aren't for everybody, I guess. Yeah, but they're for me. I enjoyed them. I thought this was a good sequel. But the only thing I can say, the biggest problem I have with the movie is the running time so far. Yeah, sometimes with superhero movies nowadays or movies nowadays, they want to make everything over 2 hours long. Yeah, since we've been living in this decade of 2020s, I'm like, if we ever make it to the 2030s in this universe, in this world, we ever make it to 2030s, if you're gonna make movies, please go back to making them not that long, 2 hours. But for the production of this movie, these are co-writers, producers Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who worked on the film. By the end of November 2018, ahead of the release of Spider-Man and Spider-Verse, which the following month, which, that film, like you said, came out 2018, on a $90 million budget, it made $394 million worldwide, so it was successful. So they began developing a sequel, of course, due to the incredible buzz surrounding the project. The sequel was to continue the story of Miles Morales, aka Spider-Man, working from seeds that were planted throughout the first film. Jorge Dos Santos and Dave Killam were set to direct and write, respectively, with M. Bichelle returning for the first film as a producer. The other producers of the film, Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, Avi Avard, Christina Stenberg, were also expected to return as some captivities. The next month, Bichelle revealed that the film would focus on the Miles and Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman story, exploring a romance between the characters that was cut from the first film. The sequel would be a launching pad for announced as a female-focused spin-off film featuring Gwen. Sony officially confirmed the sequel in November 2019, with Lord and Miller returning as producers and a release date of April 8th, 2022. I think this movie did get delayed, I believe, due to probably the COVID-19 pandemic. In February 2021, well, a lot of movies did. When we got to 2020 because of COVID and stuff, a lot of movies got delayed, and I'm sure this was one of those movies that got delayed. Anyway, February 2021, Miller said that he and Lord were working on the film's screenplay with Kellum, that Peter Ramsey would be an executive producer on the sequel after co-directing the first film. That April, Kim Powers and Justin K. Thompson announced as co-directors alongside Dos Santos in all three. Sorry. So he worked on the project since it began. Thomas was production designer on the first film. Everett and Simber were confirmed return as producers with Lord, Miller, and Pacifico Paschal, along with Alonso, I can't say the name right. Directors Bob Rashees and Rodney Byrne, who directed the first movie, would also be executive producers. In December, Lord and Miller revealed that the film was going to be split in two parts: Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and Part 2. They had written the story that wanted to tell with the sequel and realized it was too much for one film. Words on both parts were taken cinematically. So, and the sequels were renamed in April. They were renamed in April 2022. They renamed them, with this one being called Across the Spider-Verse. And the third movie, which I think we're going to get the third film in 2027, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. The release dates were shifted then. Spider-Verse got pushed back to June 2nd. This film did come out in June, by the way. Lord Miller said that they had told Sony the sequel would be the same as Into the Spider-Verse. Ended up having the largest crew of the animated film ever. About 101,000 people working on it. They added the film had 240 characters and would take place across 6 universes. Of course, they ultimately rejected, including versions of Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Raven the Hunter, Mysterio, Electro, Shocker, Rhino, Hobgoblin, Chameleon, Leapfrog, a lot of characters. The voice cast of the movie, of the film, yeah. And some, of course, were spying their roles as well. Lord and Miller expressed interest in including Spider-Punk, Takemiyash, the Japanese Spider-Man. I thought he was Hispanic, but I guess he's Japanese, which is fine with me. From the 1978 Spider-Man series and Italian Spider-Man in the following movies. Indicated the character Tako Taka was designed, though he didn't make an appearance in the movie. Jake Johnson expressed hope that he could reprise his role as Peter B. Parker in the first film. Isaiah Reed was cast as Jessie Drew, Spider-Woman. Just confirmed that he would be returning for the sequel month. Oscar Isaac was confirmed to be reprising the role of Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099 from the post-credit scene of In Spider-Verse. Also in December, Tom Holland, who plays Peter Parker Spider-Man, revealed that Purcell approached him about appearing in the Spider-Verse films during the filming of Spider-Man No Way Home. Holland and his co-stars Zendaya and Jacob Walton expressed interest in appearing in the upcoming films. Maybe they'll make a cameo. I don't remember them making a cameo in this film, but I'll spoil those later. Yeah. But I will say one spoiler right now, they do. I don't remember them having a cameo in this movie, so that didn't work out with the Sedana and Jacob Dylan and Tom Holland from the Spider-Man home movies. Tom Holland movies. Yeah, they don't. But maybe they'll be in the third movie, make a cameo in that, or maybe I just missed it. Let's see. I'm sorry. Let me look up Tom Holland again. Not the director, the British actor that played Spider-Man. See, maybe I missed it. Nope. Okay, I was right. Yeah. Holland and the co-star Jim or the Angler. Sorry. For the approach 2023, Holland was set to appear in live action sequences. That this had caused the film's delay from 2022 to 2023. Holland and Emily did not appear. Christopher Daniel Burns, who voiced Spider-Man in the Spider-Man animated series, also expressed interest in returning for the film. He voiced Spider-Man. That's always been the best version of Spider-Man to me. My favorite version of Spider-Man is the '90s cartoon. Well, he sadly didn't, which I thought sucked. I wish they would have at least gave his character something. Brian T. Henry and Lona Lauren were confirmed to be reprising their roles as Miles' parents from the first film. Richard Dress was revealed to be voicing the counselor at Miles' school. Lord Miller and directors announced in June that Jason Schwartzman would provide the voice of the film's main antagonist, Jonathan Earl on the spot, even though to me he sounds like Ryan Reynolds a little bit, which added the story after suggestion from producer A.B. Alford. His second antagonist was later written out of the movie. Powers at the spot was one of the deepest cuts of Spider-Man's rogue gallery, but the creative team was excited about his abilities. The other characters travel between universes. Shia Wigman and Joan Tongo were revealed to be voicing George Stacy and Adrian Toomes, Vulture. He also voiced Green Goblin and Peter Parker, Spider-Man from the 1967 TV series and Spider-Verse. In December 2022, with the reveal of the film's poster, it was confirmed that the Peter Parker Spider-Man from the Shirtless Spider-Man would appear in the film. Was he voiced? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of another show. It was Josh Keaton, who I've heard of before. But I thought it would be Drake Bell. I know Drake Bell, I think, voiced Spider-Man at one time. But that must have been another Spectacular Spider-Man show. Showrunner Rose Weisman was not informed about the inclusion of the show's character. First out he would be even featured in the film. The film's first trailer was confirmed that the Peter Parker Spider-Man from Spider-Man Unlimited would appear in the film. In January 2023, Nicolas Cage confirmed he would not be responding to the role of Spider-Man Noir for the film. Dalla, a skilled assassin who serves as a bartender at the bar, with no name in the alternative universe, was meant to make an appearance in the film. Her scene was cut. Her scene, she will later be included in the Marvel Spider-Man video game Spider-Man 2 from 2023. Animation and design. It's got the same CGI animation. It's kind of like blend of 2D animation with 3D a little bit. It's like blended a little bit together. They revealed the design for the work for new characters in the film had begun by November 2019. So I'm sure this film took a while to work on anyway. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, they were probably busy, doing, like I said, it was 140 characters in this movie, so it probably took a while to do. The different universe revisions of the film, they were drawn by a different artist. Having learned new animation took works on the Mitchells versus the Machines. The intent was to amaze the audience whenever characters crossed a new environment, so the film can accurately reflect its plot and styles can generate. Earth 65, the home of Gwen Stacy, was designed to look like watercolor paintings. The animation team created a similar to generate the style and used a visual palette that reflects Gwen's emotions like a 3D mode ring. The style was also intended by Miller to remind the audience about the covers of the Spider-Man comic books. Spider-Man comic books, sorry. One of the two alternatives seen the trailer was Earth 501, which was the true nickname, Mudbutton. Miles' design was updated for the sequel to show him having gone through a growth spurt. He grows a little bit. While Gwen was given a new haircut and updated costume. And so does Miles get an updated costume as well. And Miles is a bit taller too in this film. I mean, teenagers grow. Gwen Stacy's hair received a redesign in the movie, Gwen's peak highlights. In May 2012, Powers revealed that the film would end on a cliffhanger, and co-director compared to the Star Wars original trilogy from The Empire Strikes Back. Same month, though, Powers also stated that the film would be titled to the MCU. McGill makes a direct reference to the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, telling Gwen not to get him started on Doctor Strange and that little nerd back on Earth 99, referring to the Doctor Strange in the MCU, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Donald Glover reprised his role as Aaron Davis, but just Aaron Davis from Spider-Man: Homecoming when Tom Holland's Spider-Man tries to interrogate him about Vulture and stuff. Yeah. You also have a cameo from Andrew Garfield a little bit. Well, it's in footage, and Tobey Maguire as well. And the from the 2018 Spider-Man video game that was on PS4, PS5, I guess, whatever. The 2018 and 2023 sequel, that Spider-Man has a cameo in here as well. Vulture reported that 4 people worked on the film. They faced up with a due to numerous respects from the Lord for changes already finished animation. Yeah. Daniel Purchase confirmed that he would be doing the music score. They had some rap songs in here. Probably know some of them already when you watch the official trailer for the movie. For the marketing, you did have, of course, toys for the movie. They had a Spider Verse burger. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it was a Spider Verse Whopper on a red bun and a Spider Verse Sunday, which I didn't try. But on my other channel, guys, I was talking about a snack video I did on my other channel was Levi tries the Spider Verse burger. Definitely check that out if you get time. If you go on my other channel, you see Levi's snack videos or forget what I titled it, but when I do those videos again, I'll try to hear you'll see it. Just look it up and I try that burger. But that was what 2 years ago almost that video I think on my other channel. Yeah, but I do remember the trailer and stuff and the first look of the movie. They did good marketing the film as well. And for the voice cast of the movie, for returning cast you have yeah really good poster for the movie here as well. Shemmick Moore comes back as Miles Morales Spider-Man, teenager who took over as Spider-Man following the death of Peter Parker by Kingpin. Shamika Moore, of course, he voiced the character in the first movie. These movies like Joyful Noise, The Pretenders, Let Us Know, and of course will be respiring the role again. Well, the Spider-Man within Spider-Verse story. Oh, it's a short thriller film. Okay. Well, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, he'll be respiring the role. Yeah. Haley Steinfeld voices Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman. The version of Gwen Stacy, who's the Spider-Woman, where she's a one of fugitives instead of killing her reality's Peter Parker, who turned to a lizard. Haley Steinfeld, like True Grit. I love Haley Steinfeld. She's gorgeous. And a good singer, too. Pitch Perfect 2, 3. Was she in the first one? I don't think so. The Age of 17, I think she did that movie with Woody Harrelson. Bumblebee, I'll let you know that. And I still, she's in the Marvel, she has a cameo as her character Hawkeye, well, Kate Bishop from the show Hawkeye, which I have not seen. But she will be voicing the character again. And of course, this year she came out with the movie Sinners. And again, we'll be re-respiring the role again in Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which I believe is the film is in production already. I believe the third film is. But anyway, Brian T. Henry as Jeff Morales, Morales' father, who was promoted to captain. I thought did a good job. Oh yeah, I've seen this guy. Okay, let's see. Oh, let's see. Okay, yeah, he was in the Child's Play remake, and he did voice Jefferson Davis in the first film, of course. In Joker 2019, yeah, he played like an orderly or whatever. So he's worked with DC, and he was in the Child's Play horror remake, which I do like. Sue me. Yeah, he was in the Eternals as well, which I hate that movie. Yeah. Lauren Velos as Rio, Miles' mother and a nurse. She's in City Hall. I think I do. Rogue is hostage. And again, we'll be voicing the character once again. Jake Johnson coming back as Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Another Spider-Man from Earth 66 Point B, who's a mentor to Miles, taught him how to be Spider-Man. He's in movies like Paper Hate. He was in 20 Jump Street, Jurassic World, The Mummy 2017 film with Tom Cruise. Jason Schwartzman as Jonathan Owen, The Spot. Again, to me, it sounded like Ryan Reynolds, but he did a good job. He's in movies like uh, Saving Mr. Banks, Big Eyes, The Hunger Games. Yeah. Isaiah Ray as Jesse Drew, Spider Woman, pregnant Spider Woman from Earth 2032. Who's because right hand and rides a motorcycle. I like her character. She'll be coming back to the voice too in yeah. Karen Zola as Permanent Pogo, Spider-Man India. I thought did he Oh yeah, he was in Deadpool 2. I never recognize that voice. And he was in Deadpool Wolverine as well. He's funny in those movies. He's hilarious in this movie as well. Daniel Quigley as Hobby Brown, Spider-Punk, who I thought did a real good job. Like a rock version. And the actor played him did a real good job. He was in Kick-Ass 2, which I didn't mind him in that. I hate that sequel though. He was in the horror movie Get Out, which is a real good movie. He was also in the first Black Panther movie from 2018. Oscar Isaac as Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man. He voiced Gomez Adams in the Adams Family animated films from 2019 and the I think 2021 sequel, whatever. And he's worked with Marvel before, Moon Knight, which I don't really care to see, and of course the Star Wars remakes or sequel trilogy as Poe, and of course, oh gosh, he was awful in that superhero film X Men Apocalypse as Apocalypse. Yeah, he was terrible. But in here, I thought he actually did a better job. You know, as Miguel, I thought he did a lot better. In my opinion, he was a lot better here than he was as Apocalypse. Because he's not, well, he yells a little bit in this movie, but not so over the top and screaming, so much. Elizabeth Perkins voices Aunt May's Gwen of Wednesday 65 in a lot of movies. The Flintstones, Miracle on 34th Street, Big with Tom Hanks. But it's not really a big role. Donald Glover likes to disappear in here. You might see. I didn't see the images of Kristen Dunst and Bruce Willis, however, but they, I guess, are in here. I didn't see that, but there's like images of it, the movie. Yeah, and so is Cliff Robertson. You see, well, and Dennis Leary. Well, Cliff Robertson passed away long, but yeah, who played Uncle Ben in the, and of course was, you know, he did play Seamus in the Batman 60 show. Played Uncle Ben in the Spider-Man 2002 movie. Sadly, he passed away back in 2011, so it's just archival footage of him and of Gal Gadot too from Spider-Man: No Way Home, and some of the '90s animated villains as well. You see holograms of them. Anyway, the film was written by Joe DeSantos, Kent Powers, yeah, The Invincible Iron Man, Superman Doomsday, just worked the storyboard artist and for those movies. Just Leading Frontier, Batman Gotham Knight, The Spectre, Jonah Hex, short film, Green Arrow short film, Superman Shazam, Green Lantern, Never Nights. I worked on some DC animated shows as well. Justin K. Thompson, Slave with a Chance to Meatballs, and the Angry Birds movie. The MG movie, which I heard was not good. Ken Powers worked on Star Trek Discovery, Soul. Oh, okay. He did a script for that movie starring Jamie Foxx, which is a Pixar movie written by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Also did scripts for movies like Extreme Movie, Slave with a Chance of Meatballs, 20 Jump Street, starring Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, and 22 Jump Street, the sequel to that movie, the Lego Batman movie. Yeah, and I'm guessing the Lego movie and Lego Movie Part Two or whatever. Lego Movie Two, the second part. Yeah, whatever. Dave Killam, who's best known for co-writing films like The Expendables from the first one, Zombieland, Wonder Woman 1984, Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Shits. Oh, I'm sorry, because I hate that movie. I didn't like that film. Based on Marvel Comics, produced by Phil Lord. Phil Lord, Avi Award, who's been producing a lot of these Marvel movies. Yeah, I know he's a bit of a jerk and seems to only really do this for money. But he's been executive producer on Marvel movies since Blade in 1998. You know, when Marvel started to become big at the time. Because before he produced those movies, I mean, Marvel had movies like in the early '80s, but '80s and stuff, but they weren't very successful. Not until, to be honest, when Blade came out. That was like the first big successful Marvel movie. It was Blade. It wasn't X-Men, but he produced Blade and Blade 2. I'm guessing Blade Trinity, the Spider-Man film started by Sam Raimi, and Daredevil and Elektra, Fantastic Four, the 2005 movie, and the sequel, Ghost Rider and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, and Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, and Kraven the Hunter. Yeah, Amy Pascal. Yeah, but Avi Arad, he's worked on a lot of pretty much all the Spider-Man movies, including the Sony Spider-Man verse universe movies. I bet he's one of the reasons the movies suck. Yeah. But also not just Spider-Man, but other Marvel movies like I mentioned before. Oh gosh, and Amy Pascal, she helped produce movies like oh gosh, Ghostbusters, the 2016 film, Spider-Man: Homecoming. She produced, which I like, but I hate that. I don't want to see film busters. Spider-Man: Far From Home, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. She's gonna be working on that too, which is gonna come out next year. And Spider-Man: Beyond the Spider-Verse, and a new James Bond movie, edited by Michael Andrews. Music is by Daniel Printum. I'm sorry for screwing that up. Enemy of the People, The Awakening, In Fear, The Man from Uncle, the 2015 film, not the TV series. I'm guessing it's from Ocean's 8. That's from the 60s. Birds of Prey, awful movie. Yeah. The Shooter Snipers is releasing. It was released June 2nd, 2023. It's 140 minutes long. Yeah, the movie's about 2 hours, 20 minutes long. Yeah, it's a bit too long. The film is 100. The bus is budget is estimated to be either 100, I would say $150 million, but it did make $609.8 million worth. So this film was a bigger hit than the first movie. It's the sixth highest grossing film of 2023. The film was a critical and commercial success, set box office records. The third and final installment of the trilogy will be Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is set to be released in June 25th, 2027, and a spin-off film for Spider-Woman, which I hope at least time for. I can see that happening. I hope it does. I think the critics liked it. Weren't too harsh on it. Anyway, so if you haven't seen Spider-Man Spider-Verse, oh yeah, let me show you. This was what I was talking about, the Spider-Verse burger. That was like the thumbnail for a video I did. That was the Spider-Verse burger, which is really good, by the way. Yeah, I did that video on that. So anyway, I'm gonna talk about the plot synopsis for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So if you've never seen this movie, don't watch this review. If you haven't seen the first one, Spider-Man the Spider-Verse from the year 2018. If you haven't seen the first movie, don't watch this review. These are spoilers in this review. So do yourself a favor, don't watch this review for your own sake. Don't spoil yourself. Don't spoil yourself. Don't spoil it for yourself. I don't want you guys being mad at me and say, why'd you spoil the movie? Because I'm going to talk about the entire film. So again, I don't want you saying, why'd you spoil it for me? Or again, if you just don't care, I'm interested in the movie, okay, whatever. But still, just in case you do want to watch the movie one day yourself for any reason, or you just want to watch it, just give it a chance or whatever, don't spoil it for yourself. So, but anyway, with the story of the movie, I like it. What I like about this movie, with the sequel, you have to expand a little bit, and we do get more characters in this film. And it's a sequel that's different, though. I do like that it opens up with, Gwen Stacy. People can say, well, that's woke. No, it's not. I like Gwen Stacy. I like this character since she first appeared in the first movie. I already heard Miles' story. Miles is in the beginning. I didn't need to hear his story again. We do see him again, but I don't mind them trying something different. To see the sequel, you gotta expand. And that's what they did here. They expanded more on the story. You know. With the sequel, you're trying to go bigger and better. I personally say I probably like this more than the first movie, but that's just me. Anyway, well, the story of the movie is that after uniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, Miles Morales, is capitalized across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting his very existence, led by the Spider-Man 2029, Miguel O'Hara, voiced by Oscar Isaac. However, when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat that could destroy the universe, the spider people turn against Miles, and Miles has to go do something. That could be dangerous, but they turn against each other. It pits him against the other spiders people. So he must soon redefine what it means to be a hero, so he can save the people he loves the most. And knowing that with great power comes great responsibility. So he has to learn a big lesson in the movie, or you can say about the third movie. But the stakes are pretty high in the movie. Yeah, and the story as it goes along gets more interesting for me. Yeah, you do get quite a bit of Spider-Man, a lot of Spider-Man in this movie. Yeah, yeah, it's very entertaining as well. But that's the plot for you. Yeah, try not to spoil it the first time. You can name me some of the plot synopsis. I try not to spoil it. Sorry. No, but camera. Sorry, guys. Hope you can see me and hear me. The volume for the video should be working, so yay. Probably will not be doing a video tomorrow. Sunday, I don't know. But all next week though, I'm gonna try to do videos. Probably no Friday though. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself. So, like I said, there'll be spoilers. So if you haven't seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, this is a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the movie, turn the video off right now. And when you watch the movie someday, or anytime soon, or actually watch those guys, I do want to remind you, when you're subscribed to my channel, don't forget to click the little bell. You'll be notified when I do community post or when I upload a next video review or any other video. It'll let you know. Yeah, yeah, you'll be notified. And when you share my channel, people, I appreciate. Yeah, if you want to, share my channel, folks. Let your friends, family, coworkers know. I appreciate it. Share. You can share it on your my videos on your Facebook page, your Facebook story, your Instagram, whatever. I appreciate it. You know. But anyway, on with the review. So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Here we go. You've been warned. So there's gonna be spoilers. So I'm gonna get to talk about the movie. So maybe read some quotes and get my final thoughts on the film, and we'll be done here with the video. I mean, yeah, yeah. So the movie has the Sony titles. Again, the character's still owned by Sony, by the way. Sony titles, on Earth 65. It takes place a couple of months after, you know, the Collider when Miles stopped, Kingpin. Then you have Gwen Stacy, who she struggles to live up to the expectations of her father, who does not know that she's Spider Gwen or Spider Woman, if you know. But we learned about her story, about her history, about when she got bit by the spider. And a lot of that, the film opened up with her, you know, and learned about her story. She did have a Peter Parker, who was basically her friend, or you say boyfriend, who turns himself into a lizard one day. And at like at a party, she fought him, and he accidentally was killed. And Captain Stacy thinks that you know that Spider Gwen murdered him, and she swings away. You see Gwen playing drums with the band, just aggravated she is. That she talks about Miles, and she misses Miles. She does like Miles, but she doesn't want to get that close connection. She has that kind of like a wall she surrounds herself, if you will, not to be in a relationship, just to remain alone. Because that was really heartbreaking for her when she lost her friend, when she lost Peter Parker. You know, pretty much he probably was the love of her life, and that really broke her heart so much. Even though she can move on to Miles, it's just tough being a Spider person, Spider Man. Yeah. Anyway, her and her dad talk about the friends like, I'm glad you don't know the Spider Woman. She's a threat, and she wants to tell her dad about who she really is, but she can't. And so she puts her cool costume on, and I do like Gwen's well updated costume here, you know. But she gets trouble at the museum. She webs the cops, including her dad. Changes her voice, a little bit. Not like what I'm sounding like, but goes in there. She fights the this vulture that's from another universe, and she's making jokes. Then all of a sudden, McGill, Spider-Man 2029 shows up along with Spider-Woman Jessica Drew, using the generator watches that's to the vulture. And, she's like, "Who are you? Menace Man, Dark." She calls him Dark Garfield or whatever, which I thought was funny. She also called him Macho Man, which I thought was hilarious. He's like, but the thing is, Miguel, he's a very, yeah, this is Spider Man 2029, by the way. Yeah, he's a very serious character in this movie. He's the only Spider Man that doesn't joke. He doesn't have a sense of humor. He's very dark and serious. Yeah, you can say he's mopey Spider Man a little bit, but for a reason. And he does maybe don't get me started on that nerd from back on Earth 1999 with Doctor Strange. You're talking about referencing Spider-Man No Way Home, which came out a bit years earlier before this in 2021. But Gwen's able to fight them off. She saves some people from getting hurt. She used a web to save some people. Yeah, yeah. And she basically can't, her dad, Captain Stacy tells Spider Gwen to freeze. Your father confronts her. Again, she's wearing her mask. You know, she's just gun up in the air like freeze. What do we do? Hands down or what first? I'm not attacking you. My spider webs are because her organic webs are out. You know, and then she takes off her mask to her dad. He's like, "Look, Dad, this is this is who I am. I'm sorry I lied to you, but I didn't kill my friend." And he's like, "This obsessive father of a father, being the cop he is." Points his gun at her. He's like, "You're under arrest." Before he can do anything, though, McGill kind of not well didn't attack him. They web him and trap him like in a bubble, like in a shield almost. And she goes with them for a good couple months. So first of all, Miguel is in charge of the Spider Society. So Spider Society, as they call it, or Spider People. That what they do is protect the universe, and Miguel's trying to save it because the incident with Miles has done a lot of damage. So he's trying to save the universe, cause all these bad events, prevent these events from happening. Is what they do. But then you have Brooklyn on Earth 1610. Miles Morales, who is enjoying his life as Spider-Man. He's busy with teenager stuff. He misses all on stuff. He's, web slinging. Comes up against a villain called the Spot, and the Spot tries to rob a guy in a bank. First of all, he's stealing food. He's like, no, no. He's like, and he gives to the money. And the guy's like, what are you doing? He kind of, the guy, the shop owner, the gas station owner, whatever, store owner tries to attack him with a bat, but he hits him. Miles is eating like a hot cake or whatever. Or Pop Tart's like the Spot. He makes fun of him, of course, fights with him. Him and Spider-Man fight for a while, and he's losing his phone. His parents are with his counselor, who says like, is he gonna be this future person talking about his future here, and that where college he's gonna go to. They're trying to text him. He's like, time to do something important right now. Kind of busy, and the Spot's like, it's so rude that you're fighting me and talking, and they're joking around, and Spider-Man hits at the spot where it really hurts, puts him in a hole, webs him up, goes back and takes his costume off. They talk about going. He goes as Miles to talk with his parents, his mom and dad. The counselor talking about going to Princeton University, MIT or whatever. But they're studying dark matter. That hey, he wants a scientist kind of job. He's like, well, that's just a fantasy job. Well, you and Uncle Aaron opened up this business. Well, that was different. I was like, no, not any different thing I want to do, Dad. But anyway, his spider sense go off because his friend Yankee didn't call the police. So because of that, Spot escapes. Spider-Man has to chase him again. Yeah, yeah. Him and Spider-Man fight again. His dad tries to help out when he gets called by it, not knowing his son is Spider-Man. Yeah, when he uses that voice, Spider-Man fights him for a bit. His dad almost gets hurt by Spider-Man. He's able to save him. And then he traps, Lily puts the Spot in a hole where Spot realizes he can go to the universes. And it makes him mad that, Spider-Man considers him a joke. So he wants to become a bigger villain. Yeah. So he wants to do this to empower himself, make himself more powerful. Yeah. And get revenge on Spider-Man for making fun of him and treating him like a joke. Uh, his father's going to become captain. They're going to throw a party. But due to being Spider-Man, he runs late. He gets a cake for his dad. Then he stuffs some more bad guys. He riding the subway. This guy, villain's trying to attack the subway. He just shocks him, webs him, takes him down. The guy tries to steal some boxes or whatever, steal some stuff. He webs him. He's telling him the cake is messed up. And his parents, him argues like, you're not being here. Why are you late all the time? Why aren't you being awesome? What have you been doing lately? And he was like, whatever, like, whatever. Okay, you're grounded. You're grounded. And they have a big argument. He walks away to his room because he's grounded. Gwen shows up. And you've seen the trailer where she's like, "Hey Miles, how you doing?" He's got this book that she sees. So they just hang out. They go web swinging a little bit. And his dad's like, "Oh, 2 months for grounded," but they're web slinging. She puts this device, which he doesn't see, and they just have a talk. She tells him, "Don't tell your parents," and you tell the two like each other. Like I said, she's got that barrier of a wall, not to be in a relationship, and that of course, Gwen and Peter being together in the universe never really works out, as Peter would die or Gwen would die in that universe. Eventually, he goes back home. They go talk to the parents. You know, Miles' parents. Jeff and Rio. She sees them. They see them talking. They introduce themselves to her, but she gets a call from the spider people that they need her, so she is able to get away. And his dad talks to him because when I his mom, because one of the girls like, "Yo, am I ruining your cash show or whatever?" It's like, "Mom, kids my age don't talk like that nowadays." He's like, "Why don't you go to her? Go." And he goes, puts his Spider-Man suit on. He gets a picture. This guy takes a picture of him, and he's like, "Is his pants up?" He follows Gwen, and she goes to this building that's blown up. She's able to distract the cops by webbing their car, or webbing the gear on the car so the car will back up, distracting the cops. Yeah, and Miles can turn invisible, so he's watching her. He doesn't have a Spider-Man mask on, but he's just spying on her. And her mentor, Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, comes and she sees Miles and says like, "You want to see Miles in here? I told you not to do that. That was a big mistake." "Oh, I'm sorry." Gwen's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." And Gwen's like, "Shoot!" They're saying shoot because now that he's got these weapons, he can go travel universes. He can do a lot of damage. Spot can. It's cool that she's able to use technology to like kind of remind me of Batman Arkham Origins. Like she can recreate what he's been doing. She's like, "Goodbye, Miles," and Miles is right there, but he's invisible, literally invisible. But he turns back to being invisible, and Miles has to follow her to another universe. They encounter Spider-Man. They go to Earth 501. The Japanese Spider-Man, which I thought was a funny character, tells him his backstory a little bit about being Bad Spider and then growing dealing with his own captain, Stacy, in a way. But they have to fight the Spot. They're wrestling around. Like I said, it's cool to see them in their mask and fighting. You get a lot of Spider-Man action in this movie. So, web slinging too. They chase the Spot. The Spot's able to block them off. He's like, he does have that vision of him like killing his father. Him and killing Jeff Davis. Uh, Jeff Morales. Sorry, Miles and him fight. Sorry, Miles and Spider-Man. They can't get through the barrier, but they get through it because Miles is able to use his electricity powers, which works. But the Spot makes himself strong. He's like, "I won't be treated like just a joke to you," and gets in the glider, makes himself more powerful. And these building is damages. The building is going to fall on a bridge, kill a lot of people, so they start saving people. Gwen has tries to, well, you think she's trying to save, but she's trying to actually stop him from interfering. But Miles does, of course, saves the little girl's life and saves the chief's life as Japanese Spidey. You know, they get joined up by Spider Punk, by the way. You know, which I thought was a funny character. But he saves his girlfriend. He saves his girlfriend who's on this bus, and they say, Miles saves her father, little girl, and then after they save people, they feel like, yay, clapping for him. Eventually, Spider Woman just gets Drew shows up. So the Spider people trying to fix what they broke. She's like, "I know who you are," and like he's coming too, and they take him to the, yeah, yeah. Well, they don't say nothing. Japanese Spider-Man hugs this girl, was like, girl, oh, I'm sorry, a girl I've never seen before. And then away he's like this to people, like saying thank you, and Peter's like, I mean, Miles is like, welcome. Yeah. And first, Gwen is pissed off because she's like, why'd you follow me? I shouldn't have came here to visit you. But they get sent back to the headquarters in R28, 928, sorry. You have Avengers of Spider-Man. This is where you get the cameo by Aaron Davis from Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, and then the Spider-Man from the 2018 video from Spider-Man. You know, it was like, are you talking to me? They got this little computer woman, whatever. This little computer, that's a lady, tiny lady, talking about what's going on in the multiverses, let them know with their technology and stuff. And I'll meet this one girl who is, you know, she can transfer, or teleport, or multiply herself into Spidey's. She's like a computer programmer for them. Yeah. You know, so see Spider-Man from the city show. You get a Spider-Man that's like a Western type Spider-Man. Spider-Man from the 1800s. Western. He sees Peter B. Parker again, and his daughter, and of course Peter has a daughter. Or you can tell from, yeah, if you see the poster of Peter with his little girl there, very cute little girl who's got his powers as well. And then he meets Miguel, who's telling him that you screwed up the universe, Miles. You did this, and I was like, well, okay, really jerk. They meet up with her, you know, but Miguel explains every Spider-Man story contains canon events such as the death of the police captain. This is when you get a cameo by Andrew Garfield or Ben or Uncle Ben. You see a little cameo by what's his name? Tobey Maguire, of course. You know, you get cameos by them, but in archival footage. Not Tom Holland though. Yeah, they don't make any cameos in here. Like I said, Kristen Dunst, I missed her cameo, but Russ asked how but she didn't need a cameo or as far as footage from her, which and Spider-Man 3, Gwen Stacy had no reason to be in that movie. Miles knows because his counterpart had a family. He broke it though because his counterpart got shot, so he came over to be with the family, but he screwed up the universe. He got that family killed, and he because of what he the selfishness of his actions, the whole universe got destroyed, and this really damaged Miguel in the mind. He was heartbroken by this. He had a family. He was happy, but once they died, he felt that guilt of what he did really bears on him and is determined to protect the universe no matter what. Even if he has to let somebody die, a family member die to do it, you know. Yeah. And he caused the entire universe to collapse. And, you know, Miles is like, wait a minute, I had a vision of my father, like I'm dying. They argue. He's like, wait, you're gonna let my dad die? You know, it was like, Miguel, I'm sorry, but that's part of your story. Your dad has to die. I'm like, just gonna be that way. Because if you mess with it, you're gonna really screw up the universe. And he's like, I'm gonna save my dad either way. You know, he's like, sorry, Miles, but you're not going anywhere. I'm not asking your permission. All Spider people confront him, trying to even Peter and Gwen tell him, "That's why I met up with you. We had to talk to, you know." You found out that Gwen and Peter also talked to Miguel about subduing him. You know, which he finds out later. But Miles is like, "No, I'm gonna go save my dad." And they call him a kid, and he's like, "Don't call me kid." And he's mad at Peter. Everybody see him first, but then mad when they're talking more about this. And he locks him up in a shield. But he's like, "Don't call me kid." Using the electric power to get out of there, and he runs. He gets on the Spider-Man that's like got spider tentacles or whatever, and they say, "Grab Miles!" There he is, Miles. You know, and Miles swings away. You have a T-Rex Spider-Man, which I thought was random and weird, but really cool as well. All these Spider-Man chasing him. 60 Spider-Man just like, "I'm gonna come for you," you know, which I thought was cool. Seeing the 60 Spider-Man and the Spider-Man like this. Spider-Man, and just seeing all these Spider-Man from these universes, I thought was awesome. Like I said, they really expand more characters, but it's just not their a whole lot of screen time. And I think he steps on Miles runs away. He also steps on somebody's burger, a Spider-Verse Whopper or whatever. I bet that was reference to Burger King. Anyway, so him and Society they chase after Peter. I mean Miles, who again is not wearing his mask. He web swings out of there eventually. Gwen doesn't know what she follows, but she kind of supports what he's doing. She does support. They're on this train that's like kind of an upweight train, like kind of like this. And he's like, that spiral was from another universe. It wasn't from yours. It wasn't meant to bit you. And all this happened because of you. All this damage, all the universes are damaged right now because of you, because you're not Spider Man. And he's like, no, I'm Miles Morales, and I am Spider Man. And he's able to use this electricity. He's like, well, at least I'll let the other Spider Man people follow him. So all the hundreds of thousands of 140 something of these Spider Man universe people follow them, putting Miguel behind, you know. And it makes him mad that Gwen them knew, but Gwen anyway helps him out. He's like, you're right, you shouldn't have visited me. And with the help of the Spider Bite character Margot Kiss, he's able to sneak around, disappear, turn invisible, and she returns to his home dimension, his home. And Miguel's like, all he was listening, like, Gwen, this is your fault. He's mad at Gwen because he thinks Gwen helped her and it's her fault. And he kicks her out of the society and sends her back to her universe. Peter, Peter returns home to his father. I mean, to his wife, Mary Jane, with her daughter. It's like, Peter, did you take the daughter out again? It's like, no, honey, I didn't. I wouldn't do that. Sarcastically, she knows that he did. Well, Peter does try to talk to him about. And there's some bad things that come with his job, but there's good things too. Even though he's mad at Peter. Again, I can understand Miguel's point, maybe, but it's not really should be their decision who lives and who dies. Technically, I get it about saving the universe stuff and so I kind of get it, but then I get Miles' point too. You know, he wants to save his dad for a good reason. He has the power to do it, and can't really blame him. You know, but then while this happened, the spot also comes back to his universe. To with it was in 2 days it's gonna happen where he's gonna try to kill his father. So I'm technically he probably knows that Miles Morales is Spider Man. And once they learn the secret, they go after the Spider Man's loved ones. Yeah, like I said with Gwen Stacy's death, you know, or Captain Stacy, or even Mary Jane's probably in comics, but I'm not totally sure about that. Then Gwen she rekindles with the father. She's like, Dad, this is my badge. This is my mess. This is who I am. Even though I might not be a cop, this is my badge, and with great power comes this great responsibility. I do it to help people, to save people, to be a hero. And he's not gonna. Her father quit being a police captain, probably because of that, but he accepts it, and she webs him just to give him a hug, and they rekindle the relationship. And she goes back to try to save Miles. So I gotta save a guy. He's like, and he smiles. He's like, kids, what can you do? Miles rolls back in his apartment. Well, kind of looks different to him a little bit. His suit is all scratched up. He's web slinging back. As he, hits a car, but he web slings back to his apartment. Sees his mom. Tries to tell her that he's Spider Man. She laughs. Doesn't believe him. Then he sees his uncle Aaron Davis, who, spoiler, Aaron Davis got shot by the Kingpin, who was the villain in the first film. You know, who was the Prowler, working for the a criminal working for the Kingpin, who had this gauntlet arm and technology suit, technical suit. You know, didn't kill Miles because Miles is his nephew, of course. So Kingpin shot him dead. But in this universe, he's dead, and they realize that Miles is in the wrong universe. He goes up to his uncle. He starts, he's glitching because he's not belonging in the universe. But eventually, he turns around, and there's other Prowler that comes behind him and knocks him out with a gauntlet. Knocks him out. Yeah, but they just, Gwen confronts Jeff and Jeff and Rio. Tells them that I'm sorry what I did. It's like, girl, I'm gonna call the cops. Well, my father's a cop. I was like, oh, really? That explains it. But they tell him, she tells him that she's gonna go save him, go help him. It's like, tell him he's gonna be grounded for 5 months and that we love him. Please go save our son. Sorry, something was on my face. Yeah. But meanwhile, Miguel, Spider-Man 2999, there's another Spider-Man and also Jessica Drew start looking for Miles to stop him. Uh, he wakes up. He's like, "Oh, Aaron, you can change. You don't have to be probably you don't have to be criminal. Do that. You can change." And he's like, he just lets him. Then he sees this new Prowler. Spoiler alert: this Prowler is Miles. In this universe, became a criminal. He's like, "What makes you think I'm gonna let you go?" They intend to hold him hostage. Refuse to let him go save his father. Yeah. So Gwen shows up. The universe of going to Peter B. Parker, that they're gonna assemble a new Spider Society led by her. Consists of Peter, Mayday, Cronus, Brown, Kiss, Spider-Man Noir, Penny Parker, Spider-Man Noir, who was also Nicolas Cage. But we see the characters today, and Penny, we see her briefly just in these two scenes. And Spider-Ham to save Miles from Miguel and the Spider Society and help him stop the Spot from destroying everything he holds dear, along with the Spider-Man, Spider-Verse itself. I guess in the end, back in the first 2 Miles prepares to escape his his ropes. But the movie is on cliffhanger with, they're going to the universe to go help Miles, and plus the Spider-Man Noir's there, Penny Barber and Spider-Ham is all there from the Spider-Man Spider-Verse, the first movie. And she's like, we're going to set up this team, and then they go in there, and then the movie ends on a cliffhanger, so it's just to be continued. And that's the end of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So it ends on a cliffhanger. We won't see this until 2027 eventually. Yeah. Before I get my final thoughts on the film, oh, unless they did some toys for the movie. Spider-Man toy. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can read some quotes from the movie real quick, and then I will be done with this review. Okay, let's just one last time. My name is Miles Morales. I was written by Ray Scott. For the last year and 4 months, I've been Brooklyn's only Spider-Man as things are going great. So are you like a coward Dalmatian talking to the spot? So wait a minute. There's an elite group with the best spider people in it. Anyone can wear the mask, but how you wear it, that's what matters. Can this day get any damn weirder? I guess it can't. Everyone keeps telling me how my story's supposed to go. Now, I'm gonna do it my own thing. Sorry, man, I'm going home. He kicked his own butt. Can you just act like a regular supervillain so I can catch you? You know what's scary? He says these things are so smart. Cool, well, I guess I'll probably. And he does these things that are so stupid. I just wanted to mess up. You know, Hamas says under his breath, I saw his father, Spider-Man, says, maybe get off the kid's ass. I'm sorry, what? What, I don't know. You made me feel empty. Like a hole inside. We all have holes. But I now found more filled the hole within. This is different this time. His name is Miles Morales. He's been by radioactive spider. He's not the only one. He hasn't had it easy. Not the only one. He's on his own. He's not the only one. You think you know the rest? You don't. I know the rest, but I didn't. I didn't want to hurt him, but I did. He's not the only one. In every universe, Gwen Stacy postpartum. In every universe, it doesn't end well. Will you adopt me? What? I can't lose one more friend. Oh yeah, she says that to Jesse Drew. Will you adopt me? I can't lose one more friend. We're supposed to be the good guys. I never found the right band to join, so I started my own. A few older friends. Last lines, you want in, and then the movie ends. Alright. Well, we're about 1 hour. Yeah. I think I'm gonna just finish and get my final thoughts on this movie. Yeah. So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This was a very entertaining sequel. I really did enjoy this. This was a fun movie. Before I get to any problems, though, what did I like about it? I like the story. I thought the film was entertaining. First of all, I think the story was good. I like that they spent on the Spider-Man universe. Seeing Miles, go through growth spurt and become a bit taller, and his suit was really cool. I thought. The animation is really good too. You know, I like the stories about great power comes great responsibility. Like he has to learn to be a hero. You know, of course he doesn't want his dad to die, which is understandable. Nobody wants a loved one to die. And if we could have the powers of Spider-Man or any powers of superhero, we would try to save them, wouldn't we? If we could. I know I would. But the movie does have a very good story. The stakes do get high, and I do like they expand on other Spider-Verse or people. The animation of the special effects or CGI, the animation is really good. It's like mixing with 2D and 3D animation. That's really good. The CGI animation, like mixed with 2D a little bit, is really well done. I like Gwen's world. The paintings and stuff is very well shot. I think the cinematography of the film is real nice. The animation is really good. I think the voice cast I think does a great job. Oscar Isaac does a good job as Spider-Man 2019. Shamika Moore, Shamik Moore as Miles Morales, he did a good job. Haley Steinfeld does great as Gwen. You know, Jay Johnson as Peter B. Parker coming back, he does a great job. Yeah, Brian T. Henry does a real good job. Yeah, I love this great voice cast. So I think the entire voice cast does a good job. Music score was good too. I don't mind some of the songs in there. Not really much in the rap that much. But the editing is good. The action scenes are well shot. We do get a lot of Spider-Man action, so you see him mostly in the suit for half the entire movie, like quite a bit of the movie. I mean, you get plenty of Spider-Man people, Spider people in this movie, which is good. They don't get a lot of screen time, but it's good enough, and it's very entertaining to watch. The humor works as well. I think the Spot was a good villain. Yeah, you say, but I do think he'll become an interesting villain. It does become creepy when he goes into that Excelsior, that machine comes out. He starts talking a little creepy. I want to see what they're gonna. I want to see where they're gonna go from here. How is he gonna escape from the Prowler? Are they gonna fight McGill? Is McGill on his way to becoming the villain, which I can see. You know, I mean, I do think. What if McGill tries to kill Jeff himself? You just never know. If the guy's that crazy, or become a villain, I can see McGill probably becoming a villain. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm just guessing. I don't know how the Beyond the Spider Verse is going to turn out, but I'm definitely interested. You know, now probably in where they're going to go from here. But it had a real good story. I like how it ends on cliffhanger. Yeah, it was a very entertaining movie. Problems, no problems. I do think the film is way too long, a bit too long. You didn't need to make this film 140 minutes. 220 minutes, that's a bit too long. You needed to trim some down. We didn't need the whole scene with him throwing a party for Jeff, being captain. That could have done without that. Some stuff you could have cut out, trimmed down a little bit. We didn't need to see him fight the Spot twice. Again, I mean, it was funny, it was entertaining, but you needed that twice. Just move it along with the story. Don't add some stuff in that we don't need. Like I get he argues with his parents, but we didn't need that much arguing. And I do feel like the film does drag a little bit in seeing with the pacing. You didn't need to make it 2 hours 20 minutes long. Just cut down the running time. I do wish they give the Japanese Spider-Man more to do. I thought he was a funny character. Spider-Punk just kind of when he takes off his mask, yeah, still looks like a badass character, but he kind of just takes off like, I'm going to do more things. I'm not part of this. He's the only one that won't go after Miles. But I'm like, I wish we saw his character a lot more in the film. And I do like some of the cameos they have in here, like I said, with the footage of Andrew and Toby. And I do wish Christopher Daniel Barnes had a cameo in the film. You know, we would have seen something with Spider-Man in the animated series. Like I said, they do have cameos, like some footage shots or screenshots of Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Kraven the Hunter. I think Mysterio as well from the '90s animated show. So you do get some cameos, but in archival footage, which does look really good of how they expand that technology. And I like how this film goes into the multiverse of things, the multiverses of the universes out there, multiverse we're talking about, of the universes out there. This film, you know, I'm glad they expand upon that with other Spider-Man, which is very entertaining. Yeah, this and the first movie are great films in my opinion. You know, it's just like I said, my problem is you could have trimmed the movie down a bit and maybe just give some characters a little more screen time, like with Japanese Spidey and Spider Punk. But maybe we'll see more of them in the sequel. I hope at least. And the voice actors come back to do them once again. Like I said, the guy that voices Japanese Spider Man, I don't care if you don't like that. I like the guy who voiced him because he was in Deadpool 1 too. As you know, remember Deadpool's the taxi driver? You know, Mr. Deadpool, I want to become an assassin. You know, that guy who does the voice of the Japanese Spider-Man in here. He did a really good job doing that, and he's funny too, especially in the Deadpool movie. So I wish they would have given him more to do. And the guy from the horror movie Get Out, that voices Spider-Punk. I wanted just to see more of these characters. You know, have screen time. You know, maybe if Miguel was being too harsh, they could have all teamed up and fought against Miguel. You know, while Spider-Man's fighting each other. That would have been awesome to see. But you know, when the action is there, the action is good. You get plenty of Spider-Man. You see plenty of Miles in his cool suit. The suit, good bit of times in the movie, and some good Spider-Man action, and the humor works as well. You gotta have humor when Spider-Man, because Spider-Man are teenagers basically. They're young. They gotta have a sense of humor. You know, Miguel can be funny, but very business. You know, he doesn't play around. He means business type character. I can see what his actions. In a way, I can understand his actions, but they could be considered wrong. And maybe his mom was too. You know, it's just hard to agree with here. Not too hard, but I get points of views of both the characters. You know, of because both of them believe they're doing the right thing and piss them against each other, causes this conflict between the Spider people, and that's really interesting. So I'm interested to see where it goes from here with the next movie. So I can't wait for it. So yeah, very entertaining movie, good film, a good, solid, awesome sequel to the first movie. You know, if not better in my opinion. But I will admit the first movie was a bit shorter, and you know, I'm hoping to see the Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man Ham again, and Penny Parker. You know, anime Spider Girl in a robot suit. You know, Spider. I want to see them again as well. So you know, the third movie you need to go out and have Spider Punk back and Japanese Spider Man come back, and yeah, have all this Spiders come back. Just make it an epic conclusion. You know, to the filmmakers that made this movie, please. If they end it with third movie and I'm satisfied with it, good. Just make it satisfying. So after watching this, though, I do look forward to Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse because I want to see where the story's going to go from here. All right, guys. Well, my rating for this film is a good sequel, in my opinion. Yeah, ends on a good cliffhanger. And my rating for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I'm going to rate this film 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. So my thumbs up for you. And people that want, if you hate the film, that's fine to each his own. But again, I ask you, have you seen the Sony Spider-Verse game? Yeah, because after this, we got what Venom: The Last Dance. No, let's see. No, I'm sorry. We got Madam Web that came out in February. Madam Web, Madam Web, Venom: The Last Dance that came out in October. I think December was Kraven Hunter. Yeah, we got those three Sony movies. So tell me which is better. Go watch those three movies. 2024. Yeah, and watch the Venom movies. Watch Morbius or whatever Spider-Man universe movie I talked about. You know, whatever. Or Venom Let There Be Carnage. And Venom Let There, the Last Dance was the stupid title. Or like I said, go watch Madam Web or Kraven the Hunter. I haven't seen Madam Web yet, but I'm gonna review it when I start my 2024 reviews, and I guarantee you there's probably gonna be a rant coming up. So the next movies that are related to Spider-Man, they're probably gonna be rants coming up sometime eventually. But And this is definitely better than those in my opinion. I'd rather watch this over the Venom movies, but that's just me. And I'd rather watch the other some superhero movies we get today, but that's just me. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Sorry, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and your opinion. And stay tuned for the next review. This film came out in June 16th. This has also come out in June. This is probably a. Hold on. Yeah, it's another. It's a DC film, DC Universe film. No, it's not Aquaman. Aquaman Lost Kingdom did not come out. Did not come out. I think until December. Yeah, it did. It was December because I saw it in December. Yeah, this film is the 13th film in the DCU, starring Ezra Miller, Sasha Calle, and Michael Keaton, Ron Livingston, Michael Shannon. And that is, oh my gosh, I do not look forward to watching this again. That will be The Flash. So expect a rant on this because I did not like this movie. But The Flash shall be next, the 13th film in the DCU, DC Cinematic Universe. This is before it came to an end. But yeah, The Flash. This will be the next review. So stay tuned for this. I'm not going to really rush to get into this review or, you know, yeah. But let's just say this review or this rant on this movie coming up, probably a rant. Yeah, it'll be here in a flash before you know it. So The Flash, this is next. And again, my rating for Spider-Man Cross Spider-Verse is from 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. And if you don't like the movie, guys, to each his own, that's fine. This movie's not for everybody. But tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of Spider-Man Cross Spider-Verse? What do you think of it, guys, in your personal opinion? And stay tuned for the next 2023 review, superhero review, 2027 superhero reviews. That is the 13th film of DCU, The Flash, coming up next. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.